you had done some work for Francis Ford Coppola. I'm curious if you could kind of share some kind of the insights that you learned there.
Yeah, thank you. That's a deep cut. Yeah. Thanks for digging into my background there. Well, my ambition originally was to be a film director. My dad was a photographer in the Hollywood film industry. He was also a Playboy photographer, but that's for a different podcast. Had the therapy bills from that. But he was a Hollywood photographer, and so that was kind of in my blood. He gave that up to be an artist after a time, but had a a wonderful career in that world. And my family were like big, huge movie buffs, and sort of like always going out to the latest movies and things like that. And but I started out in my life with my dad in that career in Los Angeles because was the hub of everything. But we moved up to Northern California to Marin County when I was young. And Francis and George Lucas were the guys that were here, and through youthful bravado and a lot of good luck and kismet, I ended up meeting him, and he saw some of the writing that I did, and he ended up hiring me when he was looking to create a sort of studio system, like the old Orson Welles studio system, where you would have like a stable of writers and directors and actors. And so I got hired and under contract to write scripts for him and with him. And I did that for a number of years, but it was, tough going. It was a long time ago where there were not a lot of content outlets. I don't think we talked about content at all. There was movie theaters and then, HBO or whatever. And nobody was talking about diversity of voices back then. So it's a tough place for a woman to crack into the business then. But Francis, a lot of people, of course, are focused on him as a director of the Godfather movies and Apocalypse Now. But he's an Academy Award-winning screenwriter. So he taught me how to write. And, one of the greatest bits of advice that he gave me then was in writing, because that was my way of getting into the film industry, was through screenwriting, is to build it up, tear it down, build it up, tear it down. The writing is in the editing. And I started out when, beating my head against the wall of Hollywood and couldn't get in. I pivoted to marketing work because I discovered that people didn't know how to write about themselves, that they had great ideas for some kind of business, entrepreneurs, but didn't have marketing sense and didn't know how to, bridge that gap between what they were offering and what the public was looking for. So that was my foundation of copywriting. That's where I started in this business of marketing and advertising, and gratefully over the years blossomed from there into creative direction, and where I got to do some script writing and shooting of commercials and things like that. So I got to get my want for that stuff out, but I also pivoted into and fell in love with this brand work that I do, where again it's about getting into the shoes of the customer or end user and really putting yourself in their place in order to understand better what they want, who they are, and how you can serve them.